Come closer. I want to tell you about a piece of cloth. White linen, woven by careful hands, bordered with the narrow purple stripe that marked a man of senatorial rank. On the morning of March 15th, in the year we call 44 before Christ, this toga was pristine. By noon, it was soaked in blood. Let me take you there, to the moment when the Roman Republic began to die, not with the clash of armies or the fall of walls, but with 23 wounds carved into the flesh of one man. The Senate house smells of incense and marble dust. Morning light streams through high windows, catching motes that dance like tiny spirits in the air. Gaius Julius Caesar adjusts his toga as he enters, that same white cloth that will soon tell a story no weaver ever intended. He is 56 years old, his hair thinning, his body marked by decades of campaign and conquest. The senators bow as he passes. Their faces are masks of respect. But in the shadows between the columns, hands rest on hidden daggers. The toga ripples as he walks, pristine white linen that has dressed him for ceremonies, for triumphs, for the countless rituals that bind Roman society together like invisible chains. Today, it will become a shroud. What transforms patriots into assassins? What makes honorable men sharpen their knives in darkness and practice the angles of murder? The men gathering in the Senate believe they are saving Rome from tyranny. Caesar has conquered Gaul, crossed the Rubicon, made himself dictator for life. The republic that expelled its last king 5 centuries ago now bows to one man. They tell themselves his death will restore freedom. They do not yet understand that some acts, once committed, cannot be undone. That blood, once spilled on marble, stains more than stone. They will learn this lesson in the years of civil war that follow, but this morning, they still believe in the purity of their cause. Marcus Junius Brutus leads them, descendant of the man who founded the Republic, bearer of a name that means liberator. Caesar loves him like a son, perhaps because he is a son. Whispered rumors suggest Caesar bedded Brutus's mother when the boy was conceived. You too, child? Caesar will ask when he sees the blade in Brutus's hand. Not anger in those words, heartbreak. Cassius is there too, lean, hungry, ambitious. He has convinced himself and others that they act for Rome, not for themselves. Decimus Brutus, whom Caesar trusts enough to name in his will. Casca, whose nervous hands will strike the first blow. 60 senators in total, though only 23 will draw blood. The others will watch, complicit in their silence. Rome in 44 BCE sprawls like a great beast along the Tiber, gorged on the wealth of 3 continents. The Forum pulses with the voices of merchants hawking Syrian silk, British tin, Indian pearls. Slaves from Gaul carry water jars. Former enemies now serve Roman masters, their children learning Latin prayers. But beneath the prosperity, old tensions writhe like snakes. The Republic's institutions, Senate, consulship, tribuneship, designed for a city-state, now strain to govern an empire. Armies loyal to generals, not to Rome. Wealth flowing to the few while citizens demand bread and spectacle. The traditional ways are breaking down, though few dare speak this truth aloud. In the streets, people whisper of omens. A soothsayer has warned Caesar to beware the Ides of March. His wife Calpurnia dreams of his death, wakes screaming in the night. Sacrificial animals refuse to die cleanly, always a dark sign. The gods themselves seem restless. Yet Caesar rises before dawn, bathes, and dresses in his senatorial toga. The linen feels familiar against his skin, a second nature after decades of public life. He does not know he is clothing himself for his own funeral. The signs have been accumulating for months, anonymous letters left where Brutus will find them. You sleep, Brutus, while Rome groans under tyranny. Secret meetings in private homes, coded conversations in the baths. Men testing each other's loyalty with careful words. Caesar grows more isolated, surrounded by flatterers and freedmen. The old senators, the ones who remember the Republic's better days, feel themselves becoming ornaments in a dictator's court. Their votes mean nothing. Their voices carry no weight. They are becoming irrelevant, and they know it. The final provocation comes when Caesar signals his intention to be crowned king before departing for Parthia. Not dictator, king. The word itself is poison to Roman ears. 500 years of republican tradition, swept away for one man's ambition. He must die, Cassius declares in the darkness of his villa. For Rome, Brutus agrees, his voice barely a whisper. For the Republic, Decimus adds. They do not say for ourselves, though that truth hangs in the air like incense smoke. They have convinced themselves that murder can be noble, that blood can wash away tyranny. The Ides of March dawn cold and gray. Caesar hesitates at his doorway, Calpurnia's tears still wet on his cheek, her pleas echoing in his ears. But Decimus arrives with honeyed words. The Senate waits to honor you. Will you disappoint them? In the theater of Pompey, where the Senate meets today, the conspirators gather. Their togas conceal daggers. Their hearts hammer against their ribs. Some have not slept for days. Others vomited their breakfast from sheer terror. Caesar enters. The white toga catches the light as he moves between the columns, every fold visible, every thread perfect. He takes his seat beneath Pompey's statue, bitter irony, to die at the feet of his old rival. A senator approaches with a petition. Caesar leans forward to read it. The signal. Casca strikes first, a nervous glancing blow to the shoulder that tears the toga's fabric. Blood blooms across the white linen like a crimson flower. Caesar spins, grabbing Casca's wrist. Villain, what are you doing? But then the others close in. A forest of blades. Steel bites flesh. Once, twice, again and again, until the white toga becomes a crimson shroud and the marble floor runs red with the blood of the man who conquered the world. Et tu, Brute, the words escape his lips when he sees his beloved Brutus among the killers. Then Caesar pulls his bloodied toga over his head, a final gesture of dignity, and falls at the base of Pompey's statue. But here is what the conspirators did not expect: the silence that follows. They thought the people would cheer. They thought the Senate would thank them. Instead, Rome recoils in horror. The liberators become the hunted. Brutus flees the city he thought he was saving. Cassius raises armies, but finds himself fighting Caesar's heir, young Octavian, who will become Augustus and establish an empire that lasts 500 years. The Republic they killed Caesar to preserve dies anyway, strangled by civil war. The blood-stained toga is carried away by Caesar's slaves, who weep as they fold the ruined cloth. Later, Mark Antony will display it to the mob, holding up each rent and tear as evidence of the senator's brutality. The crowd howls for vengeance. The ripples spread outward like blood in water. Within 2 years, both Brutus and Cassius are dead by their own swords, defeated at Philippi. The Republic gasps its last breath as Octavian, Mark Antony, and Lepidus divide the Roman world between them. What the conspirators never understood was that Caesar was not the disease, he was the symptom. The Republic was already dying, already transformed by conquest and wealth into something its founders would not recognize. Caesar's death merely hastened its end. History remembers the Ides of March as the day liberty died. But liberty had been dying for generations, slowly, quietly, in Senate houses and counting rooms, as power concentrated in fewer and fewer hands. The 23 wounds were just the final signature on a document already written. Somewhere in Rome, in a house we cannot name, a blood-stained toga lies folded in a chest. Perhaps Caesar's wife kept it. Perhaps a loyal slave. Perhaps it was burned, though fire cannot cleanse some stains. The blood has long since turned brown, then black, then faded to shadows that might be rust or wine or the simple decay of time. But if you could hold that cloth, if you could run your fingers across its ancient weave, you would feel more than fabric. You would feel the weight of choices made in marble halls by men who believed themselves righteous. The tremor of a republic drawing its last breath. The echo of steel biting flesh, and the silence that followed. The silence that swallowed everything.